So your VA disability compensation claim was denied. What do you do? What are your options? Is it over? Should you give up? No, you shouldn't give up. And you do have options. Many people are discouraged when they receive a denial. Many people think that it should be a no-brainer. And often it is. Sometimes somebody makes a mistake or an error of judgment. Something gets filed incorrectly or not filed at all. Stuff happens. It's a big machine and it's not perfect. They handle a lot of claims, a lot of appeals, a lot of people in and out of the it's a huge machine. Mistakes are going to happen. And the VA is definitely no exception. But you filed that disability compensation claim. You filed for that rating for a reason. You filed for that, and for a very good reason. You signed on the dotted line. You volunteered yourself, your life, to a greater cause, to the country, to the Department of Defense. It doesn't matter if you were Guard, Reserve, Active, whatever. You volunteered, all volunteer force, you volunteered to sign your name on the dotted line and say, use me. I am at your disposal in whatever way you see fit for the next 4, 6 years, whatever. I will put my life on the line and lay my life down if need be. You made that commitment to all of us. You signed on the dotted line. But at the same time, simultaneously, the Department of Defense made a commitment to you. It was a deal. I got a comment in here. Currently at a QTC appointment. Yeah. QTC. Wait, what's QTC? Help me out here. QTC. I know this. I should know this. QTC VA. What is a QTC? Oh, yeah. We'll get into that. QTC is the appointment that you get to check out your ailments by a third party, a non-VA doctor, to verify your claims. We'll get into that in a minute. But that's part of the process. Yeah, Brittany says the contractor does the appointment. Many veterans are apprehensive to start their claim process. Corey says, I need to start my claim process. Yeah, man, you do. I've heard that many veterans say, and usually it's kind of older veterans, Desert Storm era and older, but still there's some 9/11 OEF, OIF veterans who say, I don't need a handout. I'm not broken. I'm not disabled. Bruh. That's not what this is about. That is not what this is about at all. It's part of the deal. When you sign on that dotted line, the Department of Defense commits to train you, to take care of you. They commit to enduringly compensate you for any loss of function or disability or injury or ailment that might befall you while you are under their umbrella. That's their commitment to you. Can you imagine having car insurance and getting in an accident and filing it's not your fault. You're filing your claim or you're wrapping things up and you're like, I'm not going to file a claim. I don't need a handout. What do you think I am? I'm not broken. My car's fine. I'll fix it myself with duct tape. That's dumb. You wouldn't do that. So don't be too proud for whatever silly egotistical reason to not file a claim. Corey says, OEF guy, I start figuring everything out since my separation. Oh, you're a little over 90 days. It's not too late. But the more you do now while you're in to prepare for that while you're out, the better. The better. Michael says, I had a conversation with an 03 who separated after 7 years who never submitted their VA claim. He also didn't sign up for his VA health coverage. Oh my gosh. Makes my brain hurt. Michael, did they say what the reason was? Oh, I didn't think I need it. I didn't think there was anything wrong. Ugh, drives me nuts. Even if there's nothing wrong with you now. Let's say your hearing is perfectly fine. Your hearing is great, but you were around artillery and loud sounds. You might have a little ring, but nothing worth getting a rating over. You need to file to get a service connection, because 10 years down the road, when the effects of that artillery and that damage creates a lifelong ringing in your ears that causes you pain sun up to sundown, drives you nuts, and you know it's because of the artillery from 10 years ago, you'll be able to say, like, look, I'm already service connected for this. And they can fix it and they can compensate you, and you can get VA health coverage for free to get it fixed. What's really, really hard to do is if 10 years down the road, you're like, man, my ears ring from all that artillery, loud noises when I was in the military, but you didn't have a file claimed, and you have to start from scratch and prove that 10 years ago, that's what caused it, not anything that happened in the meantime. That's hard. You absolutely need to file. My attempt to claim is a mess. They say medical records are lost. Gave up. No idea where to even restart. Luke, my dude, you're in the right place. I'm going to tell you what to do next. I'm going to tell you what your next step is. Yeah, Mike says, I didn't need to. Yeah, I didn't need to. Right. And when that person is deaf in 10 years because of artillery, or they can't walk straight because they were wearing a rucksack that was too heavy, too long, and they have back problems that they know are service connected and they haven't filed a claim, they're not going to be able to prove that it's something that happened when they were in the service. That's why you get it documented now, and that's why you get it service connected. My father's been retired for nearly 30 years, and I cannot convince the dude to file, and I'm rated. Oh, Cynthia, my uncle is a Vietnam veteran, and he went his whole life tough guy. Like, I didn't need it, you know. He's a great guy, really great, hardworking, like, doesn't complain, tough guy. I mean, he's awesome, but he didn't need it. He had a friend tell him, like, dude, you need to do this. And he finally went to, it was just a few years ago. It's just a few years ago. It was like 30, 40 years later. Just a few years ago, he files. It was like a no-brainer 100% disability. 100% disability. A 100% permanent and total compensation with dependents. That's like $3,000 a month and free health care for life. Had he filed any of those things back in the 70s and 80s and got them service connected, even if he was rated at 0%, if he was able to go back and say, like, no, that's not right, not only would he get it fixed and fixed easily, but potentially be eligible for back pay. If they can document that they made a mistake, if you file a claim on day one and say, my back hurts, and they deny it, and 5 years later you can prove it, that there was that service connection and you're injured, they're on the hook for all that time, all that compensation, all that time that transpired between their mistake and them getting it right in certain circumstances. Golly. He's like, man, why didn't I do that 20 years ago? Like, yeah, I don't know why you didn't do that 20 years ago. Blah. Goodness. Dustin says, my exact thought 18 years ago, I got on an 04, but here we are. Part of my reason to file was because of you. Oh, man, really? Dude. I'm like, just need a second. I'm glad. I'm glad. Keep at it, man. Keep at it. You earned that. You earned that. Keep at it, man. That's awesome. I don't know why that affected me so much. I'm sorry. A good thing this is live. A sip of coffee. That's why I talk about the things that I talk about. If you are feeling self-conscious, if you are feeling weak, if you are feeling like you don't need a handout, swallow it, forget it. That's not what this is about. This is you filing your car insurance claim after getting in an accident. Department of Defense made a commitment to you, a promise. If you get sleep apnea while you're in, and you can say, while I was in, I developed this ailment, they are on the hook to take care of you for the rest of your life. Up to 50% compensation if you have a major sleep disorder, and they'll buy your CPAP. It's a $3,000 machine. By the way, if you're 30% rated or higher, you get free VA healthcare for the rest of your life. No copays. This is a no-brainer, and this is not a handout. Goodness gracious. But today, I'm not here to try to convince you to get it done, because I do that a lot. And I'm glad that some of you, man, glad some of you listening, man. That makes me feel really good, because you earned that and you deserve that. Please, Dustin, keep me posted and let me know how it works out for you. Okay, if you're at your QTC appointment right now, I hope it works out. And if for some reason, did you use a VSO? Let me know if you used a VSO or if you used a legal support or something. But today I'm talking about what happens if you get denied. Dustin, if you're at your QTC right now, and for some reason they don't service connected, but in your heart of hearts that that's a mistake, you have options. Okay, it's not over. Anthony says, finally pushed my dad to see his VA rep after almost as many years. The rep was floored and is now doing some work. Yeah, man. I need to, I haven't been able to convince my dad, Vietnam veteran, he was, armor, tanks, artillery, can't hear a thing. And his inner ear is so damaged, his balance is just shot. It is absolutely service connected. And my parents had complications when it came to them trying to make a family with Agent Orange. That's documented. And I can't get him to go to the VA. Do you have any idea how frustrating that is? Well, yeah, you do. You do know how it's insanely frustrating. Because he actually volunteered for Vietnam. He volunteered, even if you didn't volunteer, but he volunteered. What, he doesn't want a handout? Come on. I should have a video series of me trying to convince my dad to go to the VA and get compensated for the stuff that is so obviously service connected. Come on, man. Come on. Doug says, how to establish a link when we didn't go to sick call. In my case, elbow problems from warehouse work. I had lung problems in my record, so that worked for a service connection, but so far not elbow issues. Great question. And it's not there isn't like a silver bullet, but you have options. You absolutely have options. And I'm going to get into that. You can see aviation ratings, get hearing linked automatically, jet wash on the flight line. Looked at my rating, approved tinnitus. Yeah, I have tinnitus. And they made a mistake. They said my tinnitus was service connected, but the hearing loss was not service connected. That doesn't quite add up, does it? So I went back, I did an appeal. Well, I'm going to talk about that process. So today we're talking about what is it that can you do? I'm going to get focused. I got on a soapbox here. What can you do if your VA rating or if your VA claim is denied? And in your heart of hearts, that your back pain, that your foot pain, that your sleep apnea, that your tinnitus, hearing loss, vision problems, whatever, if they are service connected, what are your options? If you're trying to pull a fast one and make it sound like you injured something that you didn't, then, screw you, man. Don't do that. Then you should have been denied, right? And there are bad actors out there. And that's why this process takes as long as it does. Because unfortunately, there are people who are like, man, I didn't do anything, but I sure would, and I didn't get injured, but I sure would love a 100% rating. Gravy train. In a lot of states, if you have 100% service-connected disability, you don't have to pay property taxes. That's a huge raise. In Illinois, it's like over 70%. I didn't pay property taxes when I lived in Illinois. That was nice. Luke says, yo, got a jet. Catch up soon. Thanks for all you do. Brother man, fill me in. Let me know how everything goes, okay? I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Keep me posted. Same with Dustin. I want all you guys to keep me posted. Send me a message and say, here's where I'm at. All right, so your thing was denied. You got the denial letter. We were not able to connect. We were not able to service connect. And basically what they're saying is it is 49.9% likely that it was service connected, or that it was not. 50% likely that it was 49.9% likely that it was service connected, and 50% likely that it wasn't. Tie goes to the runner. Let me try to explain. All right. If it's equally as likely that it is service connected, 50%, 50%, they say there's a 50% chance that it's service connected, 50% chance that it's not. Tie goes to the runner, goes to you. So they have to say it is at least as likely that your tinnitus is service connected as it is not likely, and then it goes to you. So if there's a 50% chance or more that they don't believe that your whatever is connected, they're going to deny it, which is annoying, especially if you know, because you could be at your QTC, you could be at that appointment with a contractor, and they could be doing a physical examination, and it could be a subjective thing. You know, your range of motion, they didn't have enough coffee, and they didn't see your full limited range of motion for your shoulder injury or whatever. There are a million reasons why it could go wrong. The first place that it can go wrong, so the first thing you need to do is analyze, how did you submit your disability claims package? How? Did you do it yourself? Did you file your claim or your appeal yourself? Filled out the paperwork, uploaded the stuff via the mobile app or online or whatever? All right, I'm not going to scold you, but that was your first mistake. There is a language that the VA uses that you don't know. So your first step is to go to a VSO. Go to a VSO. If you went to a VSO originally and it was denied and you want to appeal, go to that VSO and ask what your options are. VSOs are there to do that. I'm talking about chartered veteran service organizations, people who are authorized and able to file disability paperwork on a veteran's behalf. That's what a chartered VSO is. So it could be your county or multi-county or region veteran services officer. Every county should have one. Some rural areas will have one VSO for multiple counties. The American Legion, VSO. Disabled American Veterans, VFW. What is it? Vietnam Veterans of America, Paralyzed Veterans of America. I mean, there's not a lot of them. I think there's less than 20 like chartered VSOs. By charter, I mean the folks who can file claim paperwork on behalf of another veteran. Those are the folks you got to go to, because they, like I said, they know the language. You don't know the language. It'd be like if you went to China and you went to go take a spelling test there, and you tried to write out the answers in English or something. I don't know. I'm tired. It's not a great analogy. Whatever. Forgive me. Oh yeah, well, Wounded Warrior Program. They're charter VSO as well, I believe. So you go to a VSO. If you did it yourself, it's all right. Take your lumps and move on. I would like if anyone here has filed a claim on their own without the help of a VSO, I would love to meet them. And have had no experience filing on anyone else's behalf or working with the VA. I don't think I've met one. They know exactly what needs to be filed and how it needs to be said, and it's free, and for Pete's sake, why would you not use that resource? If you're self-conscious, "Well, I don't need help." Apparently you did. Your stuff was denied. You're gonna give up now? Don't waste you wasted all that time? Have somebody. "Oh, Greg, I had no experience." Wow. You're rare. You're a rare beast. You are Greg, you're the chosen one. You're the one who's gonna bring balance to the force. Good for you. Max says there's also private companies who will assist with the process. I went from 60 to I'm gonna talk about that. So let's say you've filed and were denied. You filed with a VSO. You were denied. Then you appealed. You can appeal as much as you want. That process takes a long time. It takes a while because depending on how it gets escalated, it could have to go before, a veteran claim judge. I forgot what they call them. And in that circumstance, the other option that you have is to seek legal counsel. And there's always a lot of hesitation for that. A lot of hesitation. So let me dispel some myths. Sometimes you need to put some firepower behind what you're doing. I can tell you from experience, I have personally done this. You've seen me feature, let's see. Oh gosh. Max says my appeal before looking privately lasted 11 years. And did you use a VSO for that appeal, Max? Goodness. Yeah. Do you want to wait 11 years for your appeal? Sometimes you need some firepower. Seeking legal counsel is not a sign of weakness. Again, I keep having to say that to all you tough guy vets out there. It's not a sign of weakness. There are lawyers and firms out there who specialize in VA claim resolution and making sure everything looks good. Oh gosh, we got a YouTube comment. Mike Ragg, good day, sir. I want to thank you for the information you give. My pleasure, man. Thank you for following, for subscribing on YouTube. Everybody go over to YouTube, click subscribe. Click, trying to build that up. Even though I'm not in my office temporarily while I'm remodeling it. I appreciate you tuning in, Mike. Thank you. And everybody, appreciate all of you. Sometimes you need that firepower. Legal firms that specialize in VA claim resolution know how to go to bat in ways that the VSO doesn't know, that your VSOs usually don't know about and aren't legally able to do. There's usually a lot of hesitation that, is this person going to rip me off? Is this person, is it going to cost a lot of money? I don't want to have to pay a lot of money and get it denied. It is illegal. And I can't stress this enough. It is straight up illegal for any firm or lawyer or representative to charge you to fix your claim or to file an appeal or to elevate an appeal. It is straight up illegal. Anyone who says, pay me $1,000 and I'll fix your service connection rating, turn them over to the authorities because they're a con artist and what they're doing is illegal. Wow, lawyers are free? How do they, why doesn't everybody use them? And how do they keep the lights on? We'll pull up a chair. They take a cut of back pay only after it's paid. So if I file in January, if I file a claim or an appeal in January, and they don't figure it out until June, but they figure it out in my favor in June, they are on the hook for monthly compensation going back to my original date of filing. It's not like on June they approve it and then that's when they start paying me for it. No, they do it from my date of claim. Max, your 11-year appeal, Did you get 11 years of back pay for that once they finally got it right? That's if I know it's a personal question, you don't have to answer if you don't feel comfortable, but I'm just curious. 11 years of back pay, nothing to shake a stick at. Definitely nothing to shake a stick at. So they take a cut, and the appeals process, if you elevate it, if you escalate it, if they have to put it before a judge who votes on it and again decides, it is at least equally as likely that your claim is service connected, that your injury is service connected. Equally, it doesn't have to be like 51%, just at least 50%, at least as likely as it is not that it is service connected. And they determine that. That process takes a year plus. 18 months. Right now the cycle I think is 18 months usually on average. Takes a long time. But once they decide on that, then you are given, in most cases, not every case, back pay from the date of your filing. And that is how the private company, legal entity, gets paid, because they take a cut of that. Max says, let's see, BVET strong. This did cost me, but it was extremely worth it. The process is extremely clean. I couldn't do it alone. I did not get back pay, and that's why I decided to hire a company to help me out. They charged you for your VA claim? That's not legal. That's illegal. We're going to have to look into that. We're going to look into that. What's going on over here? Are you saying it cost you, after you got paid out? Like the lawyer has to, they're never going to do work for free. Nobody should do any work for free. Everybody's time and expertise and hard work is worth something, has value. And the lawyer in particular is never going to do anything for free, but they get compensated as a cut of whatever you are paid out, whether it's back pay or just the amount that they owe you from the date of your claim to the date of substantiation. Is that what you're saying? You didn't have to front anything, did you? I want to hear about this. We might have a scandal. Those are your options. Go to a VSO. If you filed initially with a VSO, go back and have them help you with your appeal. Then they may send you to another one of those appointments with another doctor. And what they are trying to determine is, on your worst day, your absolute worst day, how your ailment is affecting your life. So if you have back pain, some days it's a 10 out of 10 that from carrying a rock or whatever. It's a 10 out of 10 on the pain. You can't even walk half the time. The other half the time it's about a 5. What they're trying to determine is the impact on your life on your worst day. So what happens if you go to that meeting with a third party and you're not having your worst day? They should be asking you questions. On your worst day, are you able to blank? And you will get that situated. And you know what? Sometimes they don't ask. And sometimes those appointments, those QTC appointments, whatever they're calling them these days, sometimes they don't ask you the right questions. And sometimes they will not say that they think it is service connected, or they might service connect you and say like, well, it's 0% because it's not bad enough. Because maybe on that day you weren't doing that bad. Then, or even on your first appeal, it's up to you. Go seek help from a lawyer who specializes in that. You will pay nothing on the front end. They get paid directly from the VA. It's seamless. If you're owed $10,000 from the date of your claim for whatever back pay they owe you when they substantiate it, they'll take the cut and pay the lawyer directly and you get the rest. Like, you don't even need to worry about handling the transaction. It's that easy. But if they need to escalate, they will. And a lot of times those lawyers then can petition to use third parties of their choosing. And they're not like calling in some quack to say whatever they want to hear. That's not it. That's not it at all. They will use people who they know ask the right questions in the right way to get to the bottom of your situation and to be able to convey that in a way that adequately conveys what you're dealing with and does so accurately in the way the VA needs to hear things. Asking for help is not a weakness. It is not. And you need to do it. It would be very, very rare for you to get your VA stuff situated on the first go on your own. The option's available. You can file your claim. I mean, you're rolling the dice, though. Use a VSO. Use a VSO. And if you need to ask for some more firepower, for some more help for a lawyer, do that too, for goodness sake. Goodness sake. You're worth it. You earn that. I don't care if you served honorably for 1 term or 5 terms. I don't care. That was part of the deal. Cash in. Be honest about all of it, but I mean, you got a blank check that you earned, that you worked for, and you're just choosing not to cash it. Because what? Pride? Because what? Too much hassle? I just told you how to do it easily. Make it happen. If you have any follow-up questions, please let me know. Advocate for yourself. And if you are not able to push that ball uphill anymore, then you get a VSO or you get a lawyer behind you. Appreciate everybody. I would like to say really quick for everybody who's still on here, you want a quick $50. I'm not even kidding. Like, this isn't, look up these VA contracts right here. You don't have to write this down. But these, the VA is collecting user experience data. They are collecting user experience data because they want to make their suite of apps on mobile and desktop more user-friendly and more intuitive, which I can definitely get on board with. It's this data that led to the launch of their new app and the way it functions, which is spectacular, which is way better than eBenefits and way better than My Healthy Vet. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jim says, I've got one quick question if you're here a minute. Yeah, I'm just talking about, I'm talking about survey stuff. How far out can I get some VSO help? I'm not sure what the exact timeline is, but if you said that you were 3 months, I don't think it's too early. Where are you located? If you're in Texas, go to Texas Vet Commission. I recommend them highly. They did mine. I mean, I brought in a stack. I just walked in there. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm getting out in a couple months. Drop my papers on there. And the lady's just like, just started, didn't say a word, just sitting there listening to her file paperwork. And she's like, okay, you're done. It's like, all right, thank you. Got it. She nailed it. It's 80% rated. It's perfect. So use a VSO. If you're in Texas, use Texas Vet Commission. They were stinking awesome. You're in Washington. I wonder if Vet Center can do it. I don't know. There's a lot of resources around there. Disabled American Veterans did an appeal for me, and they nailed that too. They nailed that appeal. I went in for one QTC, one of the follow-up appointments, and it was substantiated. I like DAV, but any of those, or your county VSO, look up who your county VSO is. Yeah, it's a good question. Jim says, so I have my shoulder and neck considered not service rated, but I did go through the VA originally to do it. I'm going to go through Veterans Guardian to reevaluate it, even though it happened like a year ago. The eval, it's not too late to fight for it for service connected. I don't think it's ever too late to appeal. I don't think there's like a statute of limitations. I think you can always reevaluate and always reappeal. I think, yeah. So you're basically asking, is there a time limit on appealing if you've had other injuries that you want to? No, I don't believe there is at all. I would be surprised. That would be really weird. I know that depending on how things time out and when you file things initially, you may not be eligible for back pay. They can be pretty stingy with that. Let's see. Is there a? I'm going into my database of VA veteran secrets. Is there? It's called Google. Is there a time limit on VA disability claims? There is no time limit on filing a post-service claim. But you should know, even the VA said va.gov. This is called a post-service claim. There is no time limit on filing a post-service claim, but you should know that the process may become very complex the longer you wait. It says it right there. On the VA tells you that they're going to suck. Yeah, man, do it. It's not too late. Worst thing that can happen is they say, no, just use a VSO. I see, yep, range of motion and pain is some subjective stuff. Have had a few QTC appointments that have been interesting. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's crapshoot. That's a good thing about using legal counsel because they can, I mean, not cherry pick, but they can really direct who is involved in the process to make sure everybody knows what they're doing, you know? So anyways, these VA contracts right here. If you go to veteranusability.us, I have done this personally. They are looking to collect that user experience data. And like I said, this data has been used and is rolled out rapidly because it goes directly, the data goes directly to like the chief technology officer for the VA. Veteranusability.us. You sign up, they give you a $5 Amazon gift card. And then they'll shoot you an email if you're eligible. They'll shoot you an email. They're like, hey, do you want to take this point and click survey? And I think they give it like 10, 15 bucks for it. Or do you want to take a facilitated study? You know, they'll be like, are you a military spouse who lives on the West Coast, or whatever criteria they need for that? And if you're eligible and you fit, you may do a facilitated study, which is like an hour max, 45 minutes to an hour conversation with somebody who works at the VA to talk about, you know, the intuitiveness of the desktop apps and the mobile apps. You get 50 bucks for that. And I did that one. Super friendly. I mean, it's like in less than an hour of my life in total, the easiest 55 bucks I ever made. I mean, they sent me a check for 50 bucks for the facilitated study in like 3 business days. And you can do that 3 times a year, I think, once every 4 months. Easy cash, baby. I know it sounds like a scam, but I mean, you guys know me and you trust me, and I have done it myself. And again, it is associated with those VA content. You can look those up. Companies called Perigean Technologies. They're the ones that are collecting and assembling the data. Easy 50 bucks. How many of you thought, pardon me, how many of you thought that you were gonna get some insider info on how to get a quick 50 bucks today? Come on. That's what I'm here for. Bring that value. If you get a chance, my friends, please reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn, and buy my book. I wrote a book, LinkedIn Mastery for Veterans and Transitioning Service Members. It's a book about LinkedIn Mastery, specifically for veterans and transitioning service members. You know, it's kind of cryptic, the title of the book, but, you know, I figure I'd just explain that. You can find it on Amazon. I love you all very much. Thank you for your kind attention.